I need somebody help, not just anybody help. You know I need someone help. When I was young and so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. Now these days are gone and I'm not so self-assured. Now I finally changed my mind, I opened up the door. You know, I used to sing this song by the Beatles called Help right when I was in school in the 1960s. You know, when this song was launched in 1965, and we went through school, and when it came to 1968-69, I was in Form 5, you know, and at that time I started to lose my hair. And this song became so meaningful because I used to play it over and over again. Help! I need somebody, help! Right through school. And when I went to med school, it got even worse. So this particular episode of part 1 is my struggle with hair loss. From ridicule to becoming a professional, what I went through. And I hope it means something to you. Hair loss today is very much, again, body image. In my profession as a plastic surgeon, in the last 33 years, I would have seen different kinds of people coming in with different problems. And there's always a psychological aspect to their problem, their pain. Because when you understand the pain in a patient or in a client that comes in, a lot of the treatment that we do addresses to that pain. What is their core pain? And I offer them treatment so that they can help to solve that pain and give them a before and after picture so that they are kind of like have that confidence. But my hair loss struggle goes right back to school. And I was brought up in a family where I had 2 brothers and a sister, and my dad lost his hair when he was quite young. So my problem of hair loss is hereditary. Obviously, when you go into the causes of hair loss, hereditary is one of it, genetics is one of it, stress is one of it. There are many causes, hormonal causes. You can have disease like cancer and lose your hair. There are many causes, and that's why there's no one treatment. But over the last 40 years, the science of hair restoration has so vastly increased. My loss was a struggle because I knew my dad was bald, like me. There was a hereditary, his brothers were bald. So there was a family history of baldness. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it because, you know, there's a lot of stigma that comes with baldness. And then I was going into the teens, you know, I was going into the, as a teenager, I was going into the 16, 17, 18. By 19, you know, when I was in Form Lower 6, I started to lose it. And that was a time when, you know, you macho time, you know, there are a lot of girls, your friends, you're exposed to the, you know, the female, you know, side of life. And so when I started to find that I was receding, you know, I went through all the emotions that one goes through when you lose your hair. And I was very depressed because I used to bathe and comb my hair because I had really wavy hair. I had a thick hair, I had sideburns right down to, you know, those days, right? You know, the Elvis Presley kind of look, you know, you comb your hair and then you puff it out and it comes out like a puff, you know what I mean? And when you go to school, they call it the curry puff look. I still remember those days. And so, and I was a prefect. I mean, there's a picture of me here with my, you know, wearing my school blazer and all that. So it was like Gaia, you know, to have that nice thick of hair, head of hair. And when I got to medical school, you know, this was in 1971 when I finished my Form 6. And I got into med school. That was the time when I started to lose my hair. And during my medical school years, from 1971 to 1978, 79, man, you know, I was in India, and I think the water in India is hard water. It's not soft water, hard water. And so the stress of medical school and the stress of having to study and away from home, and I didn't have many friends. I had very few friends.
And every time, we used to get together and have a talk, and I was the only one with receding my hair, and you could see this V-shaped kind of like, margin of my hair loss, right? And they will come and point to it, because in medical school you study about fontanelles, There's an anterior fontanelle and there's a posterior fontanelle. There are two fontanelles, you understand? If you're a medical student, if you're a doctor, you'll be able to understand what I'm saying. And my medical school colleagues will come and say, "Hey Charles, can see your anterior fontanelle, And I was so embarrassed, damn, because it was humiliating, and they used to come and they used to call me, "Hey Bota Lee, chat, quiet lah, don't say anything," and then you push my head back, because they used to look down on me because I was losing my hair, and it was difficult. It was a struggle, But when you start to lose your hair, you go through those frustrating emotions. I used to get depressed. I used to get very angry. I was ashamed of losing my hair. You're in med school. Imagine you're going to become a doctor and we end up being called the bald doctor, Hey, baldy, And at that time, there were not many people in the social world who were bald, as opposed to today, when you think of all those actors, Dwayne Johnson, all these guys, Bruce Willis, all them are clean, bald, cut, and so it's like pretty cool, pretty macho, But in those days, there were very few bald actors, so being bald meant, you were less manly, you didn't have that virility that comes with, as to say, bald is sexy today, I think so. I agree that to be bald is to be sexy, but those days, oh my God, to be bald means you are, a bit of a wimp, And I was so afraid that girls would reject me in medical school. So it was such a struggle, and if I'm saying things that mean to you, you can understand how much it is, because when they come to see me today, when I get a hair restoration call and they want to see me in the clinic, I understand. I perfectly understand when they walk in, and then we go through the different kinds of treatment. Through medical school, it was quite humiliating. I didn't want to come out a bald doctor. Stress kills your hair follicles. And somehow or other it results in vasoconstriction of the blood vessels, because today all the treatment that we talk about in the hair restoration program is to increase angiogenesis, is to increase blood supply, is to increase that vascularity of the scalp, so that the follicle is nice and and alive, to give you some nice strong density of hair follicles. When you are in the 30s, right, and you're bald or you got receding hairline, it makes you look older. So that was tough to handle, and the ridicule was painful. It was personal, but I fought it. I continued, and I told myself it's okay, because my dad was bald. I couldn't do anything about it. I didn't take any tablets. I just went through it, and after some time, in about mid-30s, I began to get resolved within myself. I resigned to the prospect of being a bald guy. You understand? And so over the years, they say that when you're bald, right? There was this guy who was being interviewed on TV, and they asked him, "What's it like to be totally bald?" And you know what he said? He said, "Oh, it's a fantastic feeling." And the lady who was questioning him was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Oh, in the morning, when you get up to wash your face, you just go on and on and on and on. There is no distinction between your face and your scalp, because there's no forehead line. But so there are some good things about being bald. But at the end of the day, it's still a problem of body image, and it's still a problem of an image, that to be bald means to be less than complete. In part 2, I'll be talking to you upon the different types of treatment that we do with hair restoration here in the practice. And remember that it's a 3-prong attack when it comes to hair. Number 1, you need proteins. Number 2, you need growth factors. And number 3, you need cytokines. So it's a great science story. But remember, from ridicule to becoming a professional was not easy. I tell you, it was not easy. I wish that 30 years ago we had the kind of treatment that we have today. So stay with me, keep in touch, read all the literature that you want to know. It's all here in my clinic. And remember, being bald is also a soul winner in life.